Ooh, right. So, if you ever been to one of the DevDives, it's more, I don't know why I'm back here. It's more about a workshop. So definitely you are all doing the right thing, bring your laptops. This is going to be the only one where there's going to be more slides and everything else. The majority of these are where we interact. It's not blah, blah, blah. This is going to be a little bit blah, 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 but it's also an interaction, okay? What I'm going to do is show you different things. If you're interested, the Wi-Fi is PAW. There's no password, just choose it. Go ahead and click on approve. You're not going to do anything nefarious with it. That's what they're asking for, and then you'll be fine and all that. So, why me? So you heard, you know what I mean? So she called me a pillar. I think it's not because I've been here long, it's just because I'm this wide, just like a pillar. I think that's what she was trying to insinuate and all that. I have won 7 hackathons. I've done second and third prizes in several other ones. So there's a little bit of experience with that. I do have a book on how to win a hackathon. If you go on Amazon and you search for it, don't. It sucks. This is better. There's too many people that are buying it to thank me. Do not do that. I have to rewrite it. And the incentive is that the sales have gone down because it's been there for about 15 years, that book. So I am, what else do I say? Oh yeah, I'm the head coach at the Tech Hub. So you will see me at the Tech Hub the majority of the time. And I'll be there helping our great MC, Rebecca. And I'll be also helping out with different things. And I will be able to help you with anything I can over there. I am fantastic at presentations. Hopefully this is maybe it's true or not. It says the other gentleman, that's fantastic presentation, David over there. We did some AI events and all that, and we can't wait to see the different events. If you haven't gone to the hackathon, time to register. I own a bunch of this domains. This happens to be one of them. If you know how to get to the web and you were like, I didn't get that QR code, DevDives 10, this hackathon links to it. All right. There's a couple of things I want to do here. One of the first things I want to do is let you know about the basic rules. Some of them are going to be my suggestions of what to do, and some of them are going to be essentially the actual rules. And most of the times you have to follow it. And one of the rules, I'm not exactly excited about it, but one of the rules is the teams have to be between 2 and 6 people. So let's talk about that. If you come in with a 2-person team, are you set? Yes, but think about adding other people, because it's always better when there's a bigger team and there's always some improvements that can happen. When you are great doing this, that person's great doing that, you might have a third person that helps out there. And then also, if you're a big enough group, and we've seen several of these where there's more than 6 of you, we will ask you to have it to split. So just be aware of it. So don't show up with an 8-person team. That's great. Just make 2 4-person team or 1 6-person team and a 2-person team. 5-minute presentations. This is a rule, and it might change during the presentation. I'm going to be overemphasizing the time, and this is key. And when I get to it, you'll see it. This is not a small thing. This is a serious thing. When you get there, one of the first things you want to do is you want to kind of coordinate how you will share information. This is an old slide, as you can see, where there were times for which you would kind of share documents, things like that, not only through GitHub or some way to communicate this stuff, but through a thumb drive. Try to sign up. Tech Hub has a fantastic Slack. I'm a huge fan of the Slack. In fact, they don't know this. Imran doesn't know this. I have statistical knowledge about it. For some reason, there's one guy that posts a lot of stuff in the Slack, and he's sitting right there. This is the second most posting guy and all that. So, but make sure to get in a way you can instantly share information about it to each other. GitHub is good, but you're going to often be able to go and say, is this okay? No. Is this one okay? Okay. Be able to share things quickly and all that. A little bit of code back and forth, things like that. Just think about that. So use Bitbucket, GitHub, whatever. Don't rely on email. Don't rely on I'll do the presentation. Don't worry about it because they might want to send you something and go back and forth. So that's something just to think about. Find others like you. I emphasized a little bit earlier, when you show up, there will be teams that are already made. But I guarantee you, if you're showing up alone or you're showing up with just 2 people and you're like, we're both front end, or we both are great at presentations, or we're both great at graphics, but so there's no way we can do it by ourselves because we feel like we're missing other people. There will be plenty of groups. In fact, I have seen 2 out of the last, we've been doing this for about 8 years, these hackathons with Tech Hub, or maybe more, maybe I'm wrong. And I've seen 2 years where the team that was the kind of the spares, as I want to call it, where people showed up and they were like, I can't find any team that wants me to accept me. We put them all together and they came in second. And then another team, they came in third. So no matter what, we will find you a team. That is our job of the coaches there, to make sure you're comfortable, that you feel like you're a part of a team, and that we can help you doing things. Okay. So each one of these will be in the process, and I think I should have an extra slide here. What I want to do is think about it in the flow, and this is perfect time for that. When you show up, find the groups. When you think of ideas, make sure you figure out those ideas quickly. The last thing you do, and I've been in groups that made the mistake and it's like 6 hours, and we still haven't voted and we haven't decided what the idea is. The idea is not the end all and be all of the presentation. I have one with websites that don't work, and I have one with ideas that suck. Because the trick is the presentation. But the idea is important. Just get to it. Choosing one is the best choice you can make. So just choose one and go with it as quickly as possible. Once you do, don't start coding. Get away from the computer, if you can. Start thinking of the flow. The best thing I've ever done is literally, we used to give them away at certain hackathons, pieces of paper. These pieces of paper look like mobile apps. Back then it was a big deal. Draw the screens. Just, like picture regular things, square, square, square. This is going to be there. You don't have to go full details. It's not a mock-up. You're not going to present this. Just basic ideas, because you never know when you're like, we know what's going to do. So and then people playing cards. You put down a card and you're like, I'm going to click on this, and then, oh crap, we haven't thought about how to get to this thing, the magic one that everybody was like, wow at. Step 1, now you realize you need a step 2. This will be taken care of when you think of the user flow and when you create and you stretch it out first. So definitely get to where you have you can definitely do it on a computer, but definitely write it out and think of those things. I've been presenting for more than just the 10 years where I've had the group, so I love interactions. You're going to hear me a lot and I'm talking, but I want to hear. Interrupt me during any of these. Ask me detailed questions. Don't quite get it? Disagree with me? Perfect. Let's have that conversation, all that, okay? So I'll continue on, but feel free absolutely to interrupt me. I will not get bothered, and you will not derail me from the presentation. Any questions so far? You guys go get it? You get what's going on?
What's where would the boundary be between MVP and like too in-depth user flow versus like useful screens, like buttons? How much detail in the buttons? How much?
I like it. I like the idea. So let's go deeper into that. You want to at first don't get that much details. You want at first to get the basic ideas. 2 things will happen when that happens. A, what I said, which is you'll realize you have no way from get to page number 1 to page number 2. But also someone else in the group will see what's happening up here that hasn't come out of here, right? When they see the flow, others will be like, oh crap, I got it. And then others will lift up their hands saying, page number 3, I can do page number 3, if you can do page number 1. Or I just realized what we need in the back end, I'll take care of the database, I'll take care of the background. And the person that maybe will handle the presentation or do some of the graphics will start thinking, oh, I got it. Okay, I know what to give you in the back end to do that. So you want something very rough at the beginning so everybody gets it. Because when you ask, do you understand? The automatic answer from everybody is, yeah, I got it. Especially when they don't. So sort of making the basics really helps it out. And if you can, beautiful mock-up would be fantastic, but the basics is what you need to do and all that. Why do you need the basics? Here's a big trick. I not only do great in hackathons, but I do great when there are quick apps to be built. This is my trick. Once you have the flow, once you realize there's a page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, quickly putting together a project and throwing blank pages and naming them page 1, page 2, page 3, or that kind of stupid, login page, right? Customers, map, whatever your app needs, just put together and throwing it up there. You don't know what huge advantage this will be. Because you'll be like, no, I got it. You do the map page, you do the login page, you do the customer page, and they will be beautiful. And then when you start to merge them, they'll be like, oh, I didn't mean like that. So if you have a website where you literally have a front page that has links, and it goes to page number 2, and page number 2 is called whatever, right? And it has a good name that makes sense, and it's blank, allows everybody to move faster. This is a big trick in MVPs, right? When we're building, I work for the government, right? For a big, huge, it's the biggest organization in the United States, 2 million employees, right? Even for big, huge projects like that, quickly getting the basics means that everybody knows what's going on. That means that they can understand that they're coming towards it. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions about that? Cool.
So I guess I'm just not understanding the benefits. So you're saying try to process map your user flow and have different pages ready to basically document different stages of the
That's it.
flow?
Yes. And 2 things will happen. One, all of a sudden you can now start spreading the pages. They're not all on you. And then he's like, well, I can also do pages because you gave me a task and I finished it. Now I don't know what to do. When the pages are there originally, when you land and there's already a maps page and a contact us page and this particular page, then things become obvious. You can just jump to that page, and then you can finish what is essentially the 3rd page. You know what I mean? You have to do this, then this, then this. You can finish that before the others do, because it's already there. And what will happen if you don't will be that you'll start your project your way. You all say agree upon a particular platform or language or framework or everything. And you're like, I got it. Let's just do our own stuff. And then when you merge those things, it's ours. And I know this because I'm there beside you, helping you do that. Oh, he set it up this way, you set it up this way, you set it up this way. Now we gotta kind of figure it out. Now you guys, if you can just all get together over hunch over someone's computer and just have the basics, the absolute basics, which I'm calling blank pages, done, instantly you'll see that everybody moves faster. And the person doing the presentation knows how many pages there are. So they're practicing. Or somebody else that's going to do something, they know what's going to go to, right? They know that your page is /something/something. So they might be ready. And I have literally done this where it's like, I know that eventually, it was we had a website that was like, thank your tech guru. And then all of a sudden you could thank them and win points and then all of a sudden go to the store. So I knew that somewhere was, /store. And I knew John was going to do it. Well, John had already finished it. So when I redirected to the page we had all agreed upon would be there, I was like, oh my God, he's done. So there's that surprise. And also, you don't have to go back and say, oh, John finished the store page. What did we call it? Oh, I called it /online store for money. You're like, what? Okay, let me change it here. Oh, I got to change it here too. Oh, forget it. So it's that organization at first that will really help you move faster. So just think of the pages first. The flow, let you think about it. What does the user of your system have to do? They have to do this, then this, then this, and they can make some choices and then go in these 2 directions. Okay, put those pages out there, blank pages. And don't be Don't worry that there's just that your code, and you press it and it goes to the blank page, because they're working on it. But it's ready to go.
Gotcha.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Just realized there's presentation. Oh my God, this is such a beautiful presentation area and all that. Everyone, I see what I like your school. This is good. It's good. I was looking back there. I don't know what's going on back here. I can sense there's someone flipping pages because I know my presentation so well. No, there's not. This goes and sort of reemphasize what I just said there. I've had way too many people think that you build a house by completing the first floor completely, including carpets and painting the wall, before you go to the second floor. Do not do that, right? You need to fake it until you make it. Here, this is for the technical people here, I want you to think about throwing a JSON file. What that does, if it's sitting somewhere, is you don't have to worry about the API. You'll see that the request you make and the reply you get works the same when Joanna finished the API or when you're hitting a JSON file. Your code will work the same. So think about that. What can I do so that in the future, when that part that someone else is building is finished and debugged and working, that I can just change something small and I don't have to wait for them? Because I've seen too many people say, here's the list, I'm going to use an online store like Amazon. Here's the list of all the cool puppy toys. We're going to build a puppy toy website. Great. I'll build it, but I won't really test it. I won't really build it until Joanna has finished the API. Why? You know more or less what you want, and she's in the middle of creating it and creating a database and doing some things and some testings, and you can help her. Let's either coordinate or just put together a quick file that you can pull instead of the API and get that information in there. So another way of thinking about this is make your page where at the very top you don't go to an API. Your page, that you can picture it with a bunch of puppy toys, at the very top is a little object, a little file. You're hard coding the information. You're pulling it from a variable that's at the very top. So the page of puppy toys will be the same, right? But you will have the puppy toy listing page ready. When the API is ready, you just point to it and stop using your version of it. So if you can't, use that local. These are quick ways to get things done because you don't know how little time you have. It is hours, almost a full 24 hours, the full day, and it's not enough. You want to do certain things about it. I think I have a slide for this, but it's a good time to bring it up. 2 advice. Your presentation time is slow. Nobody at a hackathon cares about security. I don't care that I can hit your endpoint and pull the information from any user. I don't care that the login screen doesn't do anything. That if I type my mother's name, it will log in as me, and if I type my name, it'll log in as me because it always logs in as the one user. Because your presentation isn't about that, unless you're like, here's a revolutionary way of doing security. Great, make it secure. But nobody wants that. Again, we are interested in the idea. We are interested in seeing the fun parts. We're interested in seeing the big parts. So, unless it's crucial, don't show us signing up for an account. You will take 3 minutes and you will make mistakes, and don't show us. Just say, let's pretend I just created an account yesterday, I'm going to log in as the account. Show us the creation of the user account if you want. In fact, it's a hackathon. Fill it in automatically. I go to the user creation page and it's all filled in. And you can say it's a hackathon. Tell the judges. It's a hackathon. There isn't time for me to say something, because I've seen some people struggle and they misspell it and they try again. The login screen could also have a pre-populated username password. You're not going to blow us away. I'm not going to go and say, God damn it, on the floor saying, oh, I told this one. Has to be serious. We don't really care. We want to see if you have 2 users and then they chat. We want you to log in with test user 1 and test user 2, right? Make sure it's not Juan Carlos de la Loyas and it's this long and you're slowly typing it and someone else says, no, Juan, like it sounds with a J, right? Javier, like it sounds with an H. You want to fake it until you make it. Hugely important to that.
You say like leave out everything in the application that all applications have. That's not.
Yes, big stuff first, and maybe big stuff only. What you're going to be showcasing is the fun part. It's okay to log in, especially if you want to show 2 users and a difference. Here's the manager logging in. Here's the inspector logging in. Here's this one part and logging in. But get to the big stuff. Get to what's going on in there. And for example, you may have, let me log in as the manager, or let me log in as user number 1. It's a chat system, let's just say. Let me log in as system number 2. I have a browser already logged in system number, user number 1. Let's see them chat. Now I'm impressed. I'm not blown away that you already logged in before. I'm not confused. I got it. There's 2 users. They're chatting. Let's get to it. Get to the big stuff. Okay? That's the idea. Nobody got it? All right, that's okay. Old reference, I guess. Don't worry if it's ugly. Get it working, get the functionality on there. You can make it better later. And in fact, you can present it ugly. You can present it not quite there. Because again, the presentation's the biggest part. In fact, I'm taking way too long for the stuff other parts because I'm going to stop in a minute with the presentation big stuff. That's like yeah. You guys remember this? Like a year and a half ago? Fucking it's like, that's not AI. That's going to be AI? Pfft, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, they improved it. And it was like, holy shit, that's AI. That's amazing. We had a discussion here. Somehow they let me also be part of the board for the hackathon. They don't trust me with anything else. And what we talked about is vibe coding. We're going to definitely, and we'll repeat it at the hackathon, we'll let you do it, but we're discussing what we want to see. And I think the answer was, we expect 30% to be at least your code, but more importantly, we want to see the code, right? Was that the overall?
So the rule is, and you'll have to check a box that says that you agree to this when you submit your final presentation, is that I certify within the last 24 hours that all code was either written or generated, so nothing was copy pasted or brought in from another file. Unless you're using Stack Overflow, then good for you.
Yeah.
Cool, I get it. But yeah, it has to be either generated or coded. I will say though, if it comes down to a tiebreaker, and the judges are going over your code and it's poorly written, that's going to be a make or break for if you win or not.
Absolutely.
So we all know that AI code is trash for the most part. You have to actually know what it's doing and then make adjustments to it. So you can vibe code, but we're not going to encourage that.
What we saw last year was something, the vibe codings were just starting, and then we had this one coach that went around and pretty much let everybody know. I think that he was saying to everybody, that's not good enough, use vibe coding. Because all of a sudden, I saw it on the hour. Everybody started switching to this vibe coding and this one service. So it wasn't a surprise, right? They didn't do a viral market that went live to all the people that are busy coding and all that. So just be aware of that. It's fine to do vibe coding. Don't give up and do vibe coding. You can start vibe coding and then take it on, but we want your code to be somewhere where we can see it. GitHub, Bitbucket, someplace we can see it. And if it's difficult to share that information, share that There are plenty of vibe codings that literally let you download a zip file. And if you're in that situation, you're like, I vibe coded, I'm in this environment, I did some changes, I'm happy, I can't get this out, contact me. I'll show you how to get it out from any one of the services. I know how, right? You don't have to pay. Just contact me. But we want to see it somewhere. So I think there's no slides for this, so I'll just repeat exactly what Rebecca says, because she's absolutely right. I don't mean to.
Those are your words, so.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate. Just make sure that we see that the code is made from Friday. Don't bring in code from other, and we've seen that. We had to disqualify a team that was like, first of all, we kind of knew because it was a spectacular app. And then we found out that team actually built that for a customer and presented it 3 months ago. That's not a fair thing. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Here's a question. So you're saying you want to see kind of the prompt generation and the conversation with the LLM back and forth?
No. We're not going to judge that part. What we're going to do is at the very end, there will be code somewhere.
Yes.
So even Lovable, REPL, what's the other one we were using? Most of them can get the code out. We're okay that it's the URLs has something to do with vibe coding. We're not going to dismiss it or have any problems with that. We want to see it somewhere. We want you to have it somewhere, and it's also good for you, so that you can post it somewhere and you can own it. If it's in GitHub under your account, you own it. I mean, not legally. What I mean is, yes, legally, but what I mean is, it's yours. Nobody else can. If you lose the account because you didn't pay the $20 next month or something like that, you're okay. So we want to see the code somewhere where it's shareable. GitHub, Bitbucket. There are some of the Ripple, for example, lets you sort of share the code somewhere. So work with me if there's any questions about it. Okay. So we're good. We're very good if you do AI unrelated to vibe coding. We're very happy if you use it in your IDE, in your programming. We're perfectly happy if you have Claude Code sitting next to you, helping you debug, helping you build a web page, helping you build a whole web page. There's no problems. We're not going to quote or ask you for your prompts. We just want to see your code at the very end and all that. You can talk to me about the prompt and what would I suggest you do better and all that, but the judging was not going to ask you for that. They will ask you for a code.
You watch the history of the repo, you see the progress, is that bad?
No, we don't go that far, but we want to see that there isn't anything that's what we noticed with that company that, first of all, Becca's absolutely right. We saw it on LinkedIn. They had announced it 3 months ago. That was the stupid thing. But instantly we saw everything. And with AI coding, you can see where all of a sudden there's like small changes, everything. You're like, what happened? But this was way before AI coding, and it was just instantly everything. They started with everything at the beginning of the day. It's like, no, you didn't. And they wanted a private repo, and it's like, no. Your repo has to be public. Your code has to be publicly available. The moment we finish at 6 or 7 p.m. on Saturday, you saw that we'll start at about 5 o'clock. The moment we finish, 5? 4:30, thank you. We'll start at 4:30, will be the presentations. You might not be at 4:30 presenting, but there'll be something else and all that. So we just want to see it somewhere. Any questions? Yeah.
Templates from like Open Foundry or
Yes.
OpenAI, those are okay, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Anything. In fact, I have a slide here of tricks to do with exactly that. So absolutely. So anything you can copy a look, you can copy design. There are certain websites that you will literally ask it certain things, and it will show you the flow. And wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's a Canva link, and all of a sudden, not Canva, Figma link, and all of a sudden you have almost their exact copy. Like you want to know what Instagram's login flow looks like, they'll show you the flow, and they'll give you a Figma version of the flows you can copy it. So talk to me if you want to see that. I don't have it here in the links. This isn't always required, just want to bring it up. In some situations, you are on your computer, tapping away, and for whatever reason, this is usually authentication or other things, you need a public-facing website. As in, someone can go to like you could send a link to your mother, and she could see what's going on your computer, And so talk to me. I will show you how to use these two services, ngrok, localhost.run, localtunnel.me, or SSL. These are tricks, not always required. For example, you want to actually do Stripe, the credit card integration, and you want to show it live, you kind of need something like this for a bit. Because it needs to be on an outside accessible. They need to contact you when the credit card has gone through. So if you can picture it, it's going to be running on your computer, but there's going to be a www.something.com that when they hit, it goes to your computer. So if you know what I'm talking about, contact me. Or you already probably know these answers. If you don't, and then you run into a student, oh, Damian, geez, I can't get this working. It's like, well, is it publicly available? And you're like, I don't know, we'll talk about this. Okay, so any questions about this? You don't have to exactly know what these things are, but if you know, you know. And if you know and you were like, I don't have an answer for that, these are the answers. Okay? Should have left this for the end.
Are those like substitutes for like the public cloud or something?
Yes. So in some situations, you'll be like, I'm not finished, but eventually we'll go to a website. And for some services, you need an externally accessible website for it to work.
Okay.
When you want to charge a credit card, you don't need it with Stripe. But if you want to know that the credit card transaction went through, in other words, they actually pay, and you can be test mode, and so they're not actually paying. They actually pay with a credit card, and you wanted to notify you. Well, they can't notify your laptop. It's in the city furniture building. There's no way to get to it. These are ways to get to it. Okay? So if you run into a problem and you're like, I don't know what to do, I'm having some trouble with something where it has to be on a server, but I'm not ready to put it on a server, call me and we'll talk about this. Cool? This is what you talked about. So what you said was perfect. But if you want all these websites, and this is something you can definitely take a picture of, because I just realized most of the stuff is more discussions. Did I change the domain name? I did not change the domain name. Ooh, for this presentation.com, I think goes to the Eventbrite, not to this. My name is Damian, D-A-M-I-A-N. Like this smart gentleman, I bought myname.rocks, unlike him because I don't like rocks, because I rock. See, if you type in Damian, yeah, okay, that's good. Damian, D-A-M-I-A-N .rocks, you can see this link, this slides. Or just take a picture of it. This is the most important one you have to take a picture of. The other ones we can talk about it. These are all, with W3 schools, you have to look for templates. There's some templates. They're free, Tailwind, React, basic HTML, looking full websites. And you can literally copy them, full licensed. You don't have to pay anybody, and you're allowed to use it. Maybe not to make $1 million, but definitely for this hackathon. And you can get away with like an instantly great-looking website, and just go with one of those. So just think about that. Databases. I know someone that works here, or might have worked here. If you're in a SQL database, neon.tech. You guys all know if you want a free MongoDB website, cloud.mongodb.com. I forgot. If you're like, I don't know about this Postgres, I only do things with Microsoft. No problem, I got you. How about a free database SQL server with only like, I don't know, 3 or 4 million records limit and all that. So if you can keep it under that, it's free. So, boom.
Are we limited to those databases?
No, you can do anything you want. In fact, you can run anything you want in local. But sometimes you might publish it somewhere because you want to show off, maybe. And then on top of that, you want it accessible afterwards. So it'll work just fine on your computer. You can run whatever you want. You are not limited to anything which way. You don't even have to use a database.
Okay.
So, but this, if you want a free one, this is one of them that gives you a free website.
Okay.
I'm sorry, free database, because there's a million places that give you a free websites, but usually they don't give you a free database. For example, if Firestore. So Firebase and Firestore, they give you both a free website and a free database. They're great, they're easy, they support all sorts of different languages, Python, Java, JavaScript, Node, whatever you want. And on top of that, you have a database. So again, if you want one, and sometimes it's convenient that we're all working on it. You're working on page number 1, she's working on page number 2, we're on page number 3, and it's kind of already hitting the database. It's sometimes very convenient that it hits one single master database. Instead of everybody running and waiting on this computer, and this computer went to sleep because I'm over there having lunch, it's great that you go to the cloud for your database. So sometimes that's a good solution.
Okay.
Cool. So, similar to what we said before, sometimes I've never seen someone emphasize this at our hackathons, the one with Tech Hub, but you might think about like putting it up on the domain name. And this is part of the presentation. Anything that is impressive, you have to emphasize, and we'll talk about that during the presentation. So think about, localhost or mybigidea.com. Okay. I went too slow. Go ahead.
On that last point,
Yeah.
are you saying that if it is hosted, you should emphasize it in your presentation?
That's it. I just want to show it off and all that. Here's one thing, and it has to do with the website. Here's a trick. Never, and this is years of training in hackathons, seeing people fail at this, and then I used to be a teacher at a boot camp, and I've seen people fail constantly at this. Never, ever, ever interact with the audience. You heard me right. Can everybody go to this website? Will mean that you will be waiting for 3.5 minutes. I'm sorry, where's the domain name over there? It's a porn site. Oh fuck! No, it's big idea. My big idea, not my. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. What's the Wi-Fi password? Yes, exactly. Never, ever interact with website. If you want to pretend, do like the magicians do. Oh, can I volunteer? Yeah, the gentleman over there. That's my friend, right? So I'm going to have someone in the audience join, and we're going to have a chat. That person, 1, has the website opened, 2, is logged in, and 3 is waiting for you to log in and connect. So if there's an interaction, have someone already in the audience do it. Right? Or somebody else in your team do it, and they're like, okay, they're on their phone. Oh, okay, this guy's on the phone, and then you can show, I just got the message, things like that. So, here's the key. You can win by ignoring everything I've said so far, but now you can't ignore anymore. You have to tell the story. This is the key to winning. You have to get us into the concept for which you are solving the problem. So ignore the second line. Yes, I'll talk about it in a second. Start with the problem first. You have been looking at this code for 20 hours. You are sick and tired of this freaking user whose problem you're solving. You're tired. And you've seen it over and over and over again. And you're trying to center that button, and you're sick and tired. You know what you're solving, and you know the problem. The judges don't. So start with the problem you're solving. Get us, the idea is that this is the user. You're like, I want you to think of this user. What she does is she has this problem and insists and all that. And that will get the judges to go and say, I feel like that user. I feel what that person's doing. Then you show us your solution. You cannot start with the details. This is a developer thing. Every developer will be like, okay, well, first of all, one of the things I did is I chose curved buttons because of that. Whoa, slow down. So what am I seeing? Give me a little context. Start with a problem. Tell a story. Don't make the story too big. Get us exciting and then show us. There's a famous saying in teaching, which was, teaching works like this. I tell you something, I show you it, and then I remind you I told you to. Tell us the problem, show us the solution, and then remind us why that solved the problem. By reiterating the problem again, but in a way that you now have it solved. This is key to all presentations, okay? So it's just something to think about. I just jumped in between one computer. I've seen too many people have, well, we didn't have a problem here, which is, you saw two people switched. But I've seen where the switch doesn't happen instantly, right? And if you, like, and there's never an excuse, and you're like, I have one. What if I'm trying to show a mobile app? You can have a mobile emulator on your computer. So the slides can be on my computer and the mobile emulator computer. You don't want to show it off, like, can everybody see this? Let me see this, see this button right there? See this button right there? Or can you all install the app? No. Have it, there's always a ways to do it in your computer. So if it's the presentation one in, copy, thumb drive, Slack, whatever, so that wherever the program is running best, because it's always going to run on someone's computer best, that computer is the one you're going to present. What we used to do is I don't know, Rebecca, we're doing this where we have them plug into the presenter for 2 seconds.
Oh, the test run? Yeah.
The test run. So just before you go live, there's different things we're going to do, and I'll emphasize it. Well, I'll emphasize in the hackathon, but just before we present, let's say at 4, we'll ask one of you to come, and it isn't just at random. We would like the computer that you're going to present in to come and plug in. You saw no problem between switching computers, but this facility has trouble with the Mac computers that they don't with the Windows. I don't know why. Usually it's the opposite. So I can broadcast without connecting the cable, but others can't. What all that means is make sure you're presenting from my computer. You'll see why. I don't want you to see why and all that. Hello, my friend.
So, and you waste like 30 seconds, you only have 4 minutes to present. Like, don't waste your time switching computers.
Beautiful, exactly. We'll give you time. There'll be a little bit of talk ahead of time. We have people that will go in between, that will talk different things. Just be like that. PowerPoint is good, demos are better. We don't want to spend the majority of your time talking in the PowerPoint because we're just going to be salivating as judges. You'd be like, I got it. Yes, show me. The other reason why we did this, and you're like, well, show me. The other thing we're going to do, what's going to happen is you're 4 minutes into it and you're going to rush the demo and all that. Even if your demo is 4 pages and really slow, emphasize different things. You can slow down and you can emphasize different things. You don't have to go through the page fast. Here's the key. I tried to emphasize this last year and it worked flawlessly because we had 5 minutes to present and my presentation was exactly 5 minutes. I put a timer in front of me. I don't know how I did it so well. If you go over, there will be, right now, thank goodness, a very, very loud noise from a clock in the front of you. It will look ridiculous. And if you ignore that we'll come up and say, okay, thank you very much. Let's have the judges. What do judges think? We will interrupt you. 1, it will look ridiculous, right? We will be ashamed, you'll be ashamed. 2, you will cut off part of the things you wanted to say, which are very important things. And 3, you will look amateurish, right? So all those reasons is prepare and just try not to go over and all that. And also, you'll see the colors, we have this incredible board, you will see colors change when there's 30 seconds to go. Start thinking, oh my God, I got 30 seconds to go, and start, you don't have to be a super professional, but you can kind of guess you're in the middle of the presentation. Start taking shortcuts, right? You don't need to show all the pages. You might want to jump to the cool page because there's 30 seconds left, right? We'll give you maybe one or a couple of seconds over, but there will be a loud noise. That's not what you want. You want to say, thank you everybody, and that's it. That's the other key. During the presentation, we have no time. We're good in time. There you go. So that could have been it, right? You've seen other presenters where the organizer goes, hey, there's not enough time. And you see the presenter get a little bit fast, and then, if they go over time, it looks ridiculous and things like that. So just be conscious of the time. Okay, that's it. Be nice to other teams. Don't laugh, don't make fun when someone else is presenting, or else it will happen to you, right? Don't bump the other ones. Don't wish them good luck in a mean way. You know what I mean? And also, this is another thing to be aware of. I've seen way too many presentations where the same team member is correcting the other person. And it's exactly, you guys don't know what that felt like, or you just felt that, and you're like, well, so imagine you're 5 years old. No, we said 6. What? 6? Yeah, you're right. You're 6. It looks pathetic. And most of the time, they're correcting fairly insignificant things. If there's a mistake made, roll with it. If there's a page you wanted to emphasize and it's broken, roll with it. Continue. Don't go and say, no, go, click. No. Looks horrible, right? Don't push the other person and say, let me do it. This is a presentation. You want to look professional. You want to look slick. You want to be nice. No interruptions, same idea. Don't interrupt the other individuals. Don't correct them. Don't take over if you didn't kind of co-organize. It's great if you're like, you present a couple of things, you present a couple of things, you present a couple of things. That looks fantastic, right? It looks better, not that there's anything wrong, than like 5 people sitting there and one person like taking over everything and all that. That looks okay. Looks a little bit better to have one at a time talking, but you don't have to. But don't interrupt. Don't do things like that. I've seen so many people, when the judges ask someone, pretend not that it's your dad. What the fuck? Why would you think that? What's going on? Isn't it obvious? It's for dogs. What do you mean you have a cat? And is it for a cat? It's for fucking dogs. These judges, forget about the fact you look like a moron, right? I hope I did in front of this. Maybe I look funny. You're being judged. That's what they're there for. They're going to think you're an asshole, and they're going to think more than just an asshole. They're going to think, you know what? He's not an asshole, he's a loser. And I get to choose that. Click, you're lose. Right? They're the judges. Try to see where they meant without, and also try to, picture yourself. Like they're asking about, does this work for cats too? It's okay to go and say, we didn't really think about it. It could, but we made it for dogs. That's a great answer. And you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Let's just think about that, okay? Afterwards, yeah.
So I think one of the things that I was just thinking of is you were saying all of those things.
Yeah.
Like you should devote a portion of your development time to practice your presentation.
Yes.
So cut your product production short.
Oh, that's great.
An hour, even 2 hours at the end of your production to make your presentation, to hone it down, to run it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Make sure you're on time, you're hitting time cues. Make sure that if you have interplay between team members, that interplay is dynamic, it's good. Basically, it's 90% presentation, 10% product, right?
Yes.
So what's crazy is that you're going to spend 90% of the time on the product and 10% of the time on your presentation. What I'm saying is make more time to practice that presentation to make it perfect. Because it's going to show off that technical work you did way better.
And this is one of the, you're going to be one of the coaches in there, so he's going to be there for that. And I couldn't have said it better. Absolutely, 100%. No, absolutely. That's why I let you say it. This is what a lot of people, yeah.
So will the judges look at the whole thing after, or is it just what they see in the presentation?
It's what they see in the presentation, because they're noting everything as quickly as possible. And then what happens is, we talked about that, there may be a sort of a tiebreaker they have to do, and then they'll start looking at certain things, but there's no recording for them. You will be recorded, and you can choose whether your recording goes on the YouTube channel or not, but it won't be for them. they have to scribble everything quickly and make a quick choice and all that. So they won't have a chance to go and say, wow, I was a bit of a dick when I asked that question, says a judge. Let's think about it again. They'll go back and they'll talk about it, but I've been there as the judges, and the majority of times they have a paper for each one of you or a note or something, and they instantly start choosing people. They instantly start choosing their top 3 or 4 or 5. Start comparing, so that if there's an instant winner, they kind of put that person aside and they start choosing what's going on. But yeah.
You want to touch on the practice pitches at 3 p.m. on?
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. So just before the presentation will start at 4:30. At 3 p.m. you said, Rebecca?
So yeah, 3 p.m. will be practice pitches, 4:30 will be the deadline to submit, and then we'll start as soon as possible.
Perfect. So there'll be about 2 or 3 sometimes rooms, and there'll be a couple of us there, and we'll limit to not too many people. And what we'll do is one of us will keep track of time, and you're okay to go over those times because that's what you'll be doing is practice and all that. And we'll give you some advice. We're going to try to be conscious of the fact that you can't change everything. So we won't go and say, no, that product sucks. We're going to be specifically saying, listen, you went over it. It's a 7-minute presentation at this moment. You need to bring it down to 5. And you could do it by the fact that you talked for 5.5 minutes on the problem. Right, so strip that down, strip this. No, you'll see what those suggestions are. So if you want, it's your choice. It's highly recommended. But at 3 p.m. there'll be rooms. The coaches will kind of disappear. They'll go into the rooms. There'll be one or 2, maybe 3 coaches in each one of the rooms, and these people know about presentations. So you do the pitch to them, and it's a perfectly fine place to make mistakes, to stumble, to go and figure out that it wasn't a good idea for each one of you talk. It's better than one of you talk and all that. Or try it. You say like, okay, we had one speech, she's going to do the whole speech. We want to try it. Okay, try it and see what happens. You mean, and you're welcome to do it. There's no judgment there in both ways. Like, we won't have any say where we communicate to the judge saying, well, that team, don't even bother looking at them. There'll be no communications to the judges. It's just the coaches, and they know you. And they'll say things like, I know you built that page. Why didn't you show it? And you're like, well, we're not comfortable with it. And they'll say, okay, bring it up. It looks great. You should put it in the middle of it. And so we might suggest changes like that. We'll know what you're working on, all that. Okay, but there'll be no judgments. We'll just give you some basic stuff. I usually take the time and I usually calculate total, presentation, demo, talk, because I know what you expect. Problem, demo, remind us how you solve the problem. Always. Afterwards, make sure you share the code. There are so many hackathons I've been to where it was amazing, but it just so happens that we didn't have it on GitHub, we had it like on his computer, or we had it on my computer. Just make sure you share everybody, because the person's doing the presentation that was being concentrated in the presentation may have not gotten the latest copy. Or we were all working on his computer and his computer's doing great, and we demoed on his computer and we're happy, and then we realized we made some changes, that's not checked in. That's not in it's an old word, it's not pushed into the repo. So, just be conscious to share the information. Contact information. Some of you will go there with a group, you know each other, that's fine, but some of you will find new people there, share that information, right? Because it's a good way of sharing information. And then you never know when all of a sudden they posted some great pictures on LinkedIn or something like that, and you're like, oh, and you can repost their information. And now what was a fun event became one thing where your boss says, oh, you've been doing with AI? You're like, yeah, boss, I thought you knew. It's like, no, I didn't know, but I saw on your LinkedIn. Bosses do that. They hang around your LinkedIn and all that. That sucks. But just be aware of that. Post pictures in the group, in the Slack, and in post, and then share, because you never know when you'll be like, oh, it's okay, but you'll have a chance. You'll present. There'll be a wait before you see the winners and all that. Yes?
Is it okay if you set up your GitHub for your project ahead of time, or do you have to do that on Friday?
There's no problem, because we can see when you first did your check-in and all that, but you could do it during the time and all, as long as there isn't code beforehand, before Friday. If you didn't sign up, be awesome. All right? That's my grandma. So, that's it. All right. That was, by the way, didn't mean to do that, huge part of your presentation. Make sure you know to essentially communicate to the audience when to clap. It sounds like a stupid thing, but you have to say, thank you, everybody. And it automatically become there. One, the judges see like, oh yeah, everybody likes this playing. And second, you get your closure, and then they know the alarm doesn't go off, the person with the thing stops it, the judge start asking questions, they have more time. If you did a good job and you went under the 5-minute things, they have more time to ask you questions. Definitely make sure you announce to everybody, thank you, everybody. Thank you. It was automatic. I love that. Thank you very much. That's an important part of it. What questions you got? Well, anybody who found something that they didn't realize before? Nothing. I got it. I learned nothing from there. Yes.
I just want to emphasize something that you said in the beginning.
Yes.
Familiarize yourself with these tools that Damian was mentioning, because you may need them.
Yes.
Nlock is a fantastic tool to expose your local computer to the internet. So if you need to have an endpoint, something that hits your app, Ngroup is a great solution. Zapier, what's the other one? The N8N?
N8N.
These are tools that will help you automate processes that you may spend a long time trying to code. If you're not familiar with Zapier or these other tools, they're literally like workflow programs that allow you to intake information, transform it, send it to Google Docs, send it to Mailgun, send it to whatever. If you have accounts already created with those services, and a lot of these are free, then you're not going to spend time signing up and trying to figure out how to make them work. You have a couple of days, spend a couple of days learning about all of these free tools that are out there.
Beautiful.
That are going to help you, and have them already, have credentials, sign up. You don't know if you're going to need them or not. I would have them. I would have all of them if necessary.
I forgot one thing, and you remind me of that, but it's good. Sponsorships. In this one, there isn't anything that there are two, and you have to learn more about them. So we said there are free React Miami tickets. That's one of the best prizes, because if there's many of you, that's probably more than the $2,500 you can win as the number one thing. So one thing is important is find out what they want, right? Utilize if there's a sponsor. We have Agentify. You can utilize that, and it happens to be one of the judges, right? So this is one of those cases. Sometimes there is like, $1,500 and then $5,000 if you do this. So one of the winnings that I did is where I won number one in Miami. That's what I tell people because it's true, but technically what I won is I won a sponsorship. The prize was $1,000, $500, and then one of the sponsors was all expenses paid trip to Las Vegas for 2 days to compete in a very large, with over 400 developers and 73 teams, hackathon. I won that prize. I won the sponsorship prize. And it was much more than the $500, or I remember what it was that they were giving away as number one or second. And so that became better. And then that one, I won not only third prize, I had, that was the same sponsor that got me there, I won their prize. So I won third place, which was $3,000, and then I won $5,000 from the sponsor, right, for $8,000 total. So there are usually some sponsors you can go with this. In this particular case, one of them, Agentify, is the sponsor. Now I talked to him, we know him well, it's Rick, right? What's Rick's last name? Rick Holland? Blaylock. And what he wants is he wants something innovative, unusual. I can't think of the word. I just said it and I misspelled it. He wants something unusual. He doesn't necessarily want you to use his project, although if you use his product, he'll be very interested. And if you can ask me about it, you will see kind of the presentation. But look out for, maybe not in this hackathon, but in others, where all of a sudden one of the judges is also one of the sponsors and they have a product you could use in your hackathon entry, right? So think about that.
Just to point out Agenuity is saving you a lot of time for setting up a lot of, like the vector databases,
Yes.
creating embeddings. You
Yep.
can do all of that on their platform, and they're going to give you $45 more at the event.
Yes,
If you sign up for an account today, you have $5 already to start playing around.
right. Exactly. They also have, for example, you can quickly put together a ChatGPT front end. So you don't need to hit ChatGPT. ChatGPT is pretty cheap. Right? You put in $5, you will not use it throughout the whole day. And you hackathon. But they have other services and all that. But just think about in certain situations, some of them are unrelated and they have their own prizes, and it's unrelated to the first, second, or third, and they're not even one of the judges. They have their own judges and they have their own things. So think about that when you go into this hackathon and all that. Yes?
Something to note also with Rick Blaylock is he's hiring all the time.
Yeah.
He's always wanting to hire local. So if you impress him and you use his products at the hackathon, you know, it could lead to something else. And
Yeah.
that goes for every company. TurboDocs is also sponsoring and going to be giving out free credits
Yes.
as well. Obviously, Sleep Furniture and FPL are just straight up doing interviews there. But the whole point of us doing these 5-minute interviews is so that we can go watch you work and see how you work on a team at the hackathon and how you are in a one-on-one interview. So,
Perfect.
like, if that's your goal, like, play to that goal and do what you gotta do to meet, you know, after these 2 days to have something to look forward to.
Very nice. Absolutely. Yes. Now, again, you don't have to do these things. It's just an easier way to do this, because there is a lot of times that the sponsors and the side sort of winnings can be bigger than the actual winnings and all that. There's different things. So one of them, all that. Yes.
First time coach for me. So,
Beautiful.
and maybe for the others, things that would, you know, cause problems, you could maybe review for us.
Sure. So there's nothing that I would say, you know, even if you fight, the judges are not there all the time, so if they see maybe a team fighting, I don't think it's going to affect you, but it's in the presentation, right, where you're cutting someone else off, where you're not emphasizing the big deals. Make sure you emphasize, be explicit about everything, right? Mansplain to us like it is. No, like, you know, don't dumb it down, but make sure you emphasize that you're doing this. You emphasize you have your own domain name, if that's a thing. I keep on bringing it up, but it's not you don't have to do it. But emphasize that you're using this. Emphasize using Agentuity, right, if you want. Emphasize you're using this technology. Emphasize using AI and how you're using AI. A lot of the judges are technical. So you can't go and say, we used AI to figure out what's in all that, and they want to know, like, how. Because they want to know. And they understand the answers. So emphasize those things. What you shouldn't do is, like I said, fight or get mad at the judges, go over your time, just because you'll not present what you want to present and all that. That's the only thing I would be worried about. And the other thing, like I said, I mentioned it earlier, which was make a choice quickly within an hour of what your product is. You can always change it, but don't go. I've seen people where a team it was 48 hours. They started on Friday and they ended on Sunday 6 p.m. So it was more over 48 hours. And by Saturday noon, they still hadn't chose the product. That means that they were starting when everybody else was 6 hours ahead of them, right? And fine, but just a choice is good enough, because the biggest thing is not your choice of things, because if you don't know how to present it well, we won't get it as judges. I'm not a judge, but in this scenario, we won't get it as judges, and more importantly, you know, it doesn't matter at that moment how good it was, because if we don't get it, you don't win. You have to make sure. Coaches are allowed to do whatever they want. You can even stick around with one team the whole time. I don't think I think we don't like that, but we're not going to stop you.
He's not wrong. It just won't look so great.
Yeah. And that's all. We don't. You know, the coaches there are there to help. And I, for one, don't want to stick around too much, even though there are some projects where we're like, yeah, I'd like to join your team, but I can't. And I don't think there's any problem when you stick around for a long time and all that with one team and one other. There's nothing I would emphasize. Can you think of anything, Rebecca?
One thing that we kind of talked about it in the onboarding call.
Yeah.
Is don't give them the solution right away and let them.
That's nice,
guide
yeah.
them instead of. I have actually taken the keys and fixed somebody's code. So sometimes it can be really hard to just like sit back and be like, are you sure you're getting an object there? And then they're like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm like, can you check again? Like,
Right.
You know, so guiding them and not like telling them what to do exactly. And then especially for project ideas, I created a guide that you guys will get Friday as soon as you walk in the door. It's also going to have timelines. Literally every single question that you're asking is going to be in this packet. And it will have like a guide of like how to choose your project. So what I see is like when you give examples of projects, then you're going around to each group and you're giving those examples, you end up, they're like, okay, that's our project now. You're like giving an example, but they just take it as like, you know, this is what we're gonna do. So that's the only other thing. Like,
Yeah.
be creative, but you'll get them.
As it, sorry. And it's not that you shouldn't be on the keyboard for them. It's that you're not being helpful by being on the keyboard.
You're taking away an opportunity,
Yeah. No, they're not going to lose points, but they're going to lose experience that they should have. Yeah.
The other thing, Damian, I was going to mention, on the aspect of teamwork and not cutting people off, it's actually part of the judging rubric. I'm making the slideshow right now. So the judges will perceive how you worked as a team, and that goes to give you points
Yep.
to potentially win. So it's a point system based
Yeah.
on rubric that you will all get Friday when you walk in the door, and it'll be like really broken out. But teamwork is important. And then in the presentation slide that's up right now, easily being able to break that down, you can just put each person's picture and what they worked on, and
Yeah.
then you get a checkbox and you get a point. And the judges don't have to waste a question by asking you, so what did each of you guys do? If it's just a quick
Absolutely.
slide, this is our team, it says it, they check a box, another, 15 seconds back to demoing.
And make sure that it is only 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't go overboard with the details. And emphasize some details where it's perfect, right? You know what I mean? We could be sitting there, me and David, and you're like, we have a problem, right? Or height, right? So you know what I mean? So as people that are high, and then, we would put that as last. We're solving things for tall people, right? So I wanted to emphasize my height, because if not, you can't tell because of my hat. All that, right? I wasn't emphasizing anything else. So, if you're like, this is the person, this person, this person, this, and then this is John, and John has a firefighter friend, so we thought of what could we do for the firefighter community. And so that's a nice transition to like the problem, right? And so and it makes sense, and then everybody feels for that person and knows you're an expert on that field. You've given yourself credibility where no credibility existed before. So try to weave that into it, but don't spend 20 minutes on, and I think some people have a hard time with this, not exciting, not related details for the presentation. Have a quick person, and then go right into the problem, right? And then merge it only if it's related. Okay? But that's great advice. That's it. You just have all my secrets now. Now you can do the presentation.
So you don't talk a lot about the picking of the right topic or what they're going to do. They might shift gears. You don't want them to take a long time picking.
Yeah.
Shift gears along the way, but
You can definitely shift gears along the way.
and then you have teams that are pre-formed. Maybe they already know what they're going to do. But if they have these joined-in teams, these ad hoc teams, maybe they come up with something different.
Yeah.
What have you seen that works for that? Is it just random?
So what I've seen is for everybody to start on the big stuff. That's the biggest trick. Everybody wants it's just a common thing that people start with what isn't important, right? So for example, you'll jump and you're like, well, if it's a puppy store and it has puppy toys, the first thing you have to do is log in. It's like, no, the first thing you have to do is show me the puppy apps. Within the first hour, there should be some page. It doesn't have to show an API, doesn't have to do the AI stuff, it doesn't have to have pictures, but it has to have the puppy store, right? So emphasize the big stuff. Where I've seen a lot of people do is they go into the minutia and they get everything perfect in the one page, and it wasn't the big stuff. It wasn't the show off and you're like, wow, part. Because there's always that makes sense, right? I got it. That I got it page has to be the first page you build. And build it without a database. Build it with an API. Don't worry about the look. Just get something up there. You have to get these small wins that will give you energy for the next one. And you get the small wins by doing the big stuff first and feeling good about the fact that it's done. That page is done. You're going to perfect it. It's going to come from a database. It's not coming from just a fake API or a JSON file, or at the top there's a variable that has it all. You will get to it. Get those wins. And then make a little celebration. Right? Go, everybody stand up and let's all get water, coffee, whatever. Right? Let's go get lunch. Let's get a win and all that. You need that often. I saw one of the first hackathons where they even had kind of almost like we have in Agile, where they stopped every hour and they said, okay, well, how's that project working? Okay, how is that your piece working? Oh, I'm working on the logo. How's that one? And they did it in a good way where they were respectful to each other, not like, what the fuck, you still working on that? You know what I mean? So, that moved forward the team. They felt that, they could see everybody's working, because you'll see that. I said open up, and have the blank pages. If you follow my advice, there'll be one page that you're like, it's been 2 hours, it's still blank. It's not blank on their computer. It's working perfectly fine on their computer, and they're just fixing this one bug. They're adding this one feature. Once they do, it'll show up instantly on everybody's project, and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And I've seen that happen over and over again. The last one where we won, I took a bunch of students from Boca Code, the school I was teaching in, went down to Miami, came back, and it was that story. We had this product, and it made sense that all of a sudden you got all these points, and you could spend it on swag, you know what I mean, like, with bottles, with logos and all that. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go to /store, and then all of a sudden, Jonathan was like, yeah, I got it. Like, what? Yeah, go to /store. And I had been pulling the latest, and boom, where's the pages? And it was like, oh my God, it's done. And I had not realized it. I thought he was working on something else. He finished that something else, and now he worked on the store. Just a basic list of, swag, bottles, and things like that, and all that. And it was like wonderful. So be conscious of that. If you follow my advice, what's working on your computer isn't necessarily everything. Other people are working on their stuff and all that. So just be conscious of that.